Welcome everybody to the Poke Battle Network. I'm SosaFlo.
And I'm Brownballer10.
And we are here today to give you my Flash for Everyone practice tourney run on the team that we had talked about in our last video. Go ahead and check that out as Brownballer10 and I are joined by JRE Seawolf, and we build a team of 6. And Brownballer, I really loved our team. And I was really excited to play with it and get it into the mix here right away.
Yeah, it feels like it's a very strong team. It feels very, very meta. We'll kind of see how that plays out. These practice tournaments, I think this is definitely an opportunity to, find those anti-meta picks and, really try and figure out how you can handle those. There's a lot of stuff that I think, our team is very strong against, but I do think there are a couple, adjustments that can always be made, or just understanding where those weaknesses are. Because it's fine to have a weakness. Every team has a weakness. It's can you understand that weakness and prevent that weakness from being exposed into a spot where you end up in a loss essentially.
I agree. You're never going to build the perfect team. If you did, then the meta is wrong and you found a way to cheat. But that being said, the team that we had is very neutral. We got the Umbreon, Guzzlord, Walrein, Shift 3 Quagsire, and the ever-dominant, ever-present Empoleon. We had talked about this JRE's Pokemon he brought up in our video of core picks here. And you know what? I think he won in the core picks because this thing is a monster.
Based on the rankings, PvPoke Poke is always a fantastic tool. And, looking at what the top mon on PvPoke Poke is always a fantastic place to build your team around. It's finding that supporting cast to really highlight the strength of the top Pokemon in the meta. Sometimes, there could be some really nice core breakers to it. I think the Quags and those Mud Boys are really going to be those anti-Empoleons, because it's a terrible matchup for Empoleon. Sometimes Empoleon can find its way through, so it's definitely going to be curious to see how everybody will be able to handle it, because if you can shield it properly, the steel typing is the best defensive typing there is. There's no questions there. And with the fighting type banned in this meta, really are going to have to find a way to get pressure on it somehow. I think it's basically going to have to be ground damage, but that makes it a little bit risky for, there's a flying type meta, which is 1/3 of the meta. But
meta is going to ask you numerous of questions while team building. But we're going to take the team now and go into the Flash for Everyone tournament. We're going to get with battlers from around the world who love to just practice tourney battle. If you're looking for all of your fun practice battles and trying to get an idea of what your team is capable of or where your weaknesses are, Flash for Everyone hosts these tournaments for you when you propose them or when everybody else proposes them. So we're going to get into that right now into round 1. So here we are. We are here. I'm battling Warrior J-Mac now. And yes, I've taken our team that we have constructed in our team building video, Brown. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to have some fun with this. The Shift 3 idea was so good. I was like, no, I really like Shift 3. I was feeling Shift 3 because I feel Grass is going to be so good. And Warrior J-Mac feels the same way.
Yeah, I'm definitely really excited to see how it plays. It has some very good matchups here. Even if the Barbarical is hitting with super effective Fury Cutters on it, if you got Bullet Seed on it, those Bullet Seeds are going to be adding up. There's double super effective Bullet Seeds as well as compared to the double super effective Fury Cutters. So definitely be a very interesting matchup to see there. That Barbarical on J-Max team looks pretty strong, but as we saw in our previous video, that Empoleon, it can be a nightmare to deal with. Really nothing too, dominant. But, Mighty Anna with Thunder Thing, I'm assuming, could put some work on it. That's actually something I was looking at, but one issue is Mighty Anna is going to be very slow to its moves, whereas Empoleon should still be able to hit it for stab, neutral damage with those steel wings, so it'll be very exciting to see there. Plus that Guzzlord. This is going to be a very exciting matchup here. I'm very excited to see how this turns out.
Right, we've got some electric Pokemon out there that are just willing to put in some good moves that you and I didn't even talk about when we first broke it down with JRE. Like, who would have thought of Mighty Ina? Now that you're thinking about it, you see it, you're like, yeah, it's got Thunder Fang. Just so exciting to see what Warrior J-Mac plays his style with, as we're gonna get into it now. Guzzlord right into Gyarados, getting the lead. SosaFlo goes right into it, gets those Dragon Tails, start chunking away. Now Dragon Breath is doing a ton of damage here.
Right here, you know you got the Aqua Tail, so I mean, there's no point in shielding here. This is gonna be nice chip damage. Guzzlord's kind of doing its job there. It should be playing out the zeros and trying to see, you know, what advantage you can step. That did a lot of damage, and it wins the zero shield scenario and gets a move off. That's insane. We see the Thunder thing, Mighty Ena, come in as it takes the move. Ooh, not just that, but a shiny one as well. So, I mean, Umbreon is just so bulky here, and Mighty Ena is just beyond glassy. Unfortunately, it didn't get aligned to what it was looking for, but oh no.
Yeah, it looks like we getting the Walrus onto the flying grass, even though it's Razor Leaf. So, still putting up a ton of pressure. Have to get up the shield. The problem is, I got the Icicle Spear is shooting off and being built up, ready to go, and it's going to get those shields, and that's going to give a great opportunity for Umbreon if the shield is kept by SosaFlo. But this Trophy is like, no, I know the game plan here. I've got to get all the energy on the Mighty Ina, and this is great. A great opportunity here, but Umbreon left with energy, Brown, and there was nothing that's gonna stop it.
And even the bait here, I mean, I think that would have been lethal damage, to be honest. I mean, there's nothing that the Mighty Ena can do here. The Umbreon is too much bulk. You actually have an extra shield here, so I can use that for your next game here against J-Mac.
You really hope you could use them for your next games, but you never know, right? It's never a for certain thing. Granted, he did bring the Mighty Ena and we got to see it play out. He brought the Gyarados too. That was something I was intrigued about because we didn't talk about it as well. It's one of the flyer dragon, quote unquote, dragons that has Dragon Breath. But it's water, and without, I mean, water looks so strong, and without any weaknesses like Mighty Ena's Thunder Fang, like Gyarados looks really scary.
Yeah, I think, you know, looking at, you know, the matchups we had before, so Mantine is banned, so that's the water flying type, and so is Pelipper, but it looks like water damage really isn't going to be that effective here. Gyarados using its Dragon Breath damage was in a fantastic spot, but I'm very curious how it's going to use its charge moves effectively. I mean, Crunch is resisted by, let's see here, 1, 2, 3 Pokemon, and Aqua Tail resisted by 1, 2, 3, 4 Pokemon. So it's basically just fast move pressure, and you know, it's very glassy. Can you make it work? It's definitely got some value in the Dragon Breath, but you know, and quick moves, but it's unfortunately very glassy, so let's see how it works.
I mean, it did a lot of damage to that Guzzlord, but Guzzlord has to have 200 health. Oh no! So we're gonna see now how Bullet Seed's gonna play out. And you know what? I was really surprised when we saw this. And look at the chunk damage. Bullet Seed acted like charm out there on Barbarical. Not really worried about those Fury Cutter anymore. Building up all the energy, gets to the first charge move before the Fury Cutter can get to its first charge move. Feeling real good about this Shiftry right here.
This Shiftry is putting in work. Double ABA water, and we are in a fantastic spot. The Empoleon that comes in is going to take a super effective drill run and try and farm down, but it should be able to do. Oh, it does not. But it should have been fine there just because it's taking double resisted ice charge. Definitely, you know, very advanced. Oh, that's some damage we just got here. And that
Steel Wing.
Barbarical should be dry.
Yeah. Barbarical is now dry. It's a good opportunity. Shiftry can't get a farm down, but it's okay. Guzzlord is here. Guzzlord's got the shield. Gonna give up and put down the Dragon Tail again. Nope, gets the swap out, and here comes Tropius with the Razor Leaf.
Ooh.
This is great for Warrior J-Mac. Those Razor Leaves are actually doing damage to that 290-something health of Guzzlord. Sitting real strong and pretty, and the Dragon Tails are chunking away, but with no shield, Guzzlord's got to take the health, and Tropius can just sit here, shield, and feel real comfortable getting ready for that next Leaf Blade.
It can. Luckily, it is resisted damage, but I mean, will Guzzlord tank it?
Oh,
that's one of
Dragon Claw.
That's one of the disadvantages of Razor Leaf, unfortunately. It's just the energy gen on it is so slow that it just did not pay off there. You know, had he had Air Slash, I think Air Slash looks a lot scarier into your team. I mean, Tropius looks like it's coming. Hasn't worked twice. You know, I think that Barbarical comes back. I really do. That Barbarical did a lot of work.
That Barbarical put in all the work. I'm real scared about that Barbarical. On this team with 3 Darks, and a Steel, and no Ice, and a Quagsire. Like, you're talking Cross Chop and Stone Edge. It hits everything on this team. But what I was thinking as we're going through this, man, looking at Tropius, it's actually a great Pokemon with the Air Slash because there's not a lot of charge moves that are forcing Grass to give up shields. So Tropius could actually be that shield stealer for you on those Grass Pokemon, where that'll open up for the Barbarical to have 2 shields on the rest of the meta.
Yeah. I mean, that Razor Leaf definitely helps a lot for the Empoleon matchup.
Yeah.
So, I mean, ooh, that's a lead. That's a lead there, but you know.
A lead for who, sir?
For Warrior J-Mac here, that's a fantastic lead.
Yeah, and actually, I wanted to see.
Tanks it. It's fine.
I wanted to see what Aerial Ace would do, and this Hurricane is because of your suggestion. Be like, they'll never shield it, and they don't. Hurricane did about half health of the Mandibuzz, and now it was in the yellow. While Empoleon comes out, I did draw out the Mighty Ina, but at the same time, now Mighty Ina is taking some damage and has to take a charge move and give up shield.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a shieldable move right there. You got there. I mean, this really isn't that bad for you. I mean, Myena's really going to throw nothing at your Guzzlord. So, I mean, you pulled both shields. Like, it's throwing super effective damage to you, and it just did not do really anything. I mean, it's just too slow to get its next bang, and you're just going to take care of it here. You know, 1 shield, Guzzlord and back. That's just going to be straight.
And I have to force the energy because I can get to a Hurricane. Think about it. Half the health of that thing is gone off a Hurricane. So they got to force all the energy off. So Mandibuzz is covered in hot, but I completely forgot there was a Pokemon in the back. And it's that terrifying Barbarical I told you about with no shields. Now again, Tropius comes out and forces the shields onto the from those Empoleon and stuff like that, and Barbarical can close so strong. Not to mention, if you swap that and put Barbarical out there with Tropius, Empoleon can close out so strong, and that is a great 1-2 combo punch. So Warrior J-Mac has a great team and a great comp, and I think it was Razor Leaf that cost him that round, because he had great plays all around.
Yeah, I mean, I think just Razor Leaf was generally pretty good. It hits 5 things for neutral, you know, but at the same time, if you had Air Slash would, but you know, Razor Leaf, it's just such a bad Guzzlord matchup, and you know, it's probably not too impactful on Shiftry. It definitely is not great for it, but definitely that Guzzlord, I feel like you're definitely able to force Guzzlord quite well. I think, you know, Dugong may have been the best bet to try and counter that, but like Dugong's got some matchups it really doesn't like to see there. I mean, if it needs to get through the Empoleon, can't really put any fast move pressure on it. Warren also just double resisted Ice Shard, so it makes Ice very double-edged sword here, you know, trying to get through some of these bonds.
Yeah, it's a tough meta to try to figure it out. Even though water looks so neutral, there's still things that can come after it. And trying to rock, paper, scissors might not actually be so bad at rock, paper, scissors, because we're going to get into round 2 now. All right, Brown Baller, we got Vancouver's top 16 Riblet here. Again, another Flash regular. All these battlers, just like Warrior J-Mac here, are top Flash people. We've seen them around the circuit, constantly getting their practice in for these Devon Corps GGs, and he's coming with a hot team. And I like that Altaria, but I don't like that Raticate.
That's a little bit scary. Altaria, I mean, it's kind of doing a very similar thing to what Guzzlord will be doing here. Lots of Dragon Breath pressure, but you know, can that Guzzlord, man, that Guzzlord looks strong. I think that you're really seeing a lot of Dugong right now just because of that Guzzlord. I wonder if you'll see more of a shift towards Walrein later in the meta. I mean, if you have that Walrein there on the Altaria, that's a really terrible matchup for Altaria. So, I mean, it's definitely trying to figure out how you can navigate everything. What I'm seeing here is that Walrein on your side looks very, very strong. I mean, it doesn't want to see Empoleon, but if you can deal with Empoleon somehow, you should be able to be in a fantastic spot.
Yeah, you're looking at Altaria. I was looking at Quagsire, and I didn't play with it in the last matchup, nor did I play with Walrein. So I actually thought maybe I should bring both, but Quagsire, I wanted to make sure I married up with Empoleon. And I've noticed something with people with Empoleon. They like to close with it. It's like one of the top closers in the meta. So I'm going to try to marry it with it in the Quagsire matchup. But that Raticate for the Umbreon is my big worry, because I really like Umbreon as the lead. And like, it's so good. It's so neutral.
It is. It's actually a strategy that I love to employ personally. Be able to play out all the zeros and just set up some sort of advantage for my backline is fantastic. So right now you found the Altaria, so this is, you know, this makes Walrein a little bit not as good, because there's now the potential to get this on an Empoleon, but you do find a Dugong here. So, I mean, this little chip and dip will be nice, and I'm assuming you actually go into your own Walrein here, because you obviously don't want to come in the Guzzlord on this matchup here.
Actually, the thought was Walrein was useless unless it gets onto Altaria. So I'm going to dump all this energy onto Umbreon and force him to give the energy off. I'm coming after him with everything. He's built up so much energy now that Umbreon is going to throw and gets to the third foul play and gets now this Dugong really low. So, like you said earlier.
Are we about to see a Powder Stone down here? Hold up.
There's about to see some fire happening, because with all that energy now off the Umbreon, from the Umbreon, that Dugong can't take out the Walrein. And no, you can't see a Powder Snow down because Powder Snow's not doing too much. He got the Icy Wind off.
But so, you have energy. You have energy, and you.
And we get to see what the back line is. Yeah. So now there's energy forcing the idea that an Earthquake Force Shield gets it, and now here comes the Guzzlord. The Hydro Cannon you can take with Guzzlord because it's so tanky. The Drill Peck you could take. You know, Altaria's gonna come in with that Dragon Breath, so you want to do everything. And here's that Brutal Swing that was suggested. 4-tap to it, and you're getting that big damage down. That was some big damage, and I was like, okay. But it wasn't enough.
Oh, but we ran out of health.
Yeah. Maybe the
not
chip
enough
again.
in the end.
Maybe
I
the
think
chip
if you
again.
got that farm down there on the Walrein, man, that would have been just that'd been just so difficult to deal with. I mean, I think that's one case where the Shadow might have been very nice there.
Ooh, yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, I think we're gonna see more other opportunities where, you know, the normal does have more play. But yeah, definitely that Empoleon in the back, just trying to figure out how that can be dealt with, you know.
It
looks like Empoleon's being brought.
I know, it's so, here's the thing, it's so good, but to call that, and then if you have, so say for instance, you have Quagsire for the back for Empoleon, and you get the call wrong, and it's Tropius with Razor Leaf, It's done. It's such a mind game in this tournament.
Well, luckily for this matchup, there is no trophies for Blazers racially, so I think this really opens up the ability to put that Quag in the back. Oh, this is a fantastic matchup for Shiftry. And this is still a decent matchup as well.
Yeah.
Leaf Blade is one of the best moves in the game, and that's going to connect. Oh, okay.
The chip and dip, all the energy there. Return won't KO. It'll take him to about half. So Umbreon showing again us that it just doesn't. You don't need to invest shields. Umbreon's your breather. You can bring Umbreon in, take a breath, re-strategize, figure out a game plan. Because it just can soak up energy and not give up shield as the foul play comes through before the crunch does from the Raticate.
And really, this is still not really a great spot for the Quagsire. The Quagsire is in an absolutely horrendous position right now. Umbreon just landing foul play after foul play. Does this even kill if it's a Mud Bomb? I'm pretty sure Mud Bomb kills from here.
I'm pretty sure Stone Edge KOs and sends it right
definitely
back.
kills. That's
Yeah.
a lot of energy too, I think. Wow.
Yeah, that was a ton of energy.
And
you're going to get the Drill Peck now from the Empoleon here, and because of that Shadow boost, that Steel Wing is going to put on that extra pressure now. Now it's also going to lose a lot of health because of the defense debuff, but with the shield, it's going to take the Sky Tech. You're like, oh, you're Steel type, you can take that. It's like, yeah, I want to stay a little staying alive. As Quagsire is left in, with all the energy trying to farm you down, you're gonna have to throw the energy here to get the shield at least, because it's up to Shiftry now. It's all on Shiftry now, boy.
I mean, Shiftry, if you gotta call the bait here, I think, or successfully. Oh, that's nice. That's those Bullet Seeds. The Bullet Seed, is that the second time we've seen Bullet Seed be the correct play here? Was it Barbarical last game? You know, Quag this game, even Raticate. I mean, Bullet Seed's the play in my opinion.
I am now 3 times that we've seen Bullet Seed put hard, fast move pressure, if not that charge move pressure down on opponents where they have to shield, where they're taking that chip damage that's actually Leaf Blade that's chunking them half their health. Altaria still didn't want to see that Leaf Blade in game 1. The Raticate didn't want to see that Leaf Blade, and then it's just coming to town for all your waters. It's like, oh, you got a Quagsire? Here's some Bullet Seed. Oh, you got an Empoleon? Here's some Bullet Seed. Like, Bullet Seed, I'm beginning to believe that Bullet Seed is key here in this meta. As we're getting into game 3, what are your predictions for game 3?
Have you brought all 6 Pokemon so far? And this is only game 2. That was only the second game.
That was the second game. We're getting into game 3 now. This is game 3, the 1-1 decisive game 3. I have brought all 6 Pokemon. No, I have not brought Quagsire. I have not brought Quag yet.
Oh, okay. But still, 5 out of 6 in 2 games. This is definitely a team that really, there is, on Riblet's side, I don't think there's a real answer for what you're going to bring. I think that makes this very difficult from his end. I mean, I think he brings the Empoleon. I think you bring your Empoleon. We'll see what the other 2 are. This is going to be very close. I mean, Shiftry put in work. I mean, I can definitely see it coming back.
And I'm going to tell you, this team felt so safe. And I know everybody's feeling the Raticate, but yo, that Umbreon is just too good of a call. It's just too good of a safe swap in this meta right now. As the Steel Wings get the Ice-type Dugong, now going to get the Drill Peck off and get the Dugong to the yellow. Dugong just building up all that energy. I believe I caught in couple extra taps. He's gonna go for the Drill Run, gets shielded. What a call.
Yeah, I mean, there is no reason to not shield there, in my opinion. You're still incredibly healthy, so staying healthy is a fantastic play. This is not a matchup you really like to see here for the Empoleon, but you've already done your job. You're really just holding alignment, and right now, you know, that Quag, it is getting some energy, but we'll throw right before you get to the Hydro Cannon there.
But
you're in still a
but-
pretty decent spot.
Brown Baller, there's an Umbreon right there. So all of the
Yeah.
energy again, gone. Give me that breather Pokemon. Okay, dump all that energy you thought you were going to waste. The big play in the back is, what can it be? If it's the Raticate, it's going to be a lot more difficult. But if it's Empoleon, Altaria, or Gyarados, Quagsire's looking real strong there, as Umbreon is taking the foul plays to the Shadow Quagsire now.
The Shadow Quag is not having a fantastic time. Umbreon is so bulky here, and it should get to the KO here. Now, what is in the back? I'm just going to take it as Empoleon.
It's Empoleon!
Yeah. This is pretty fantastic for Quagsire here. Empoleon is not having a great time. You live a move, and this Mud Bomb hurts quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know if it necessarily KOs here, but it does. It's pretty close to it. This is where the next Mud Shot will probably take it out.
Yeah, and again, people in this meta love Empoleon is such a great closer in this meta. Like, I don't blame him for bringing it game 3 and closing with it game 3. He led with it game 1 to close with it game 3. That is how you do it, and especially when it's so high up there as one of the top closers with a shield. He tried so hard to get the shield earlier with the Dugong and his own Quagsire, but holding on to the shield and getting that Umbreon out there to soak up all of that. Again, the no shield presence of Umbreon just allows for anybody with any extra energy or anything to just even your line back up and give you the presence of what you need.
Honestly, I think you could even save your own Empoleon because it was so healthy at that point. I mean, Umbreon looked like a fantastic save swap there. Really no hard punishes truly there for it. So, I mean, really lots of plays I think you had there. I mean, you had just a fantastic lead, and you chose to keep health. And the more health you have, fun fact, if you have the most health in the end, you do win the game.
That is a fact. You do that. But I mean, you can't walk off with the most health if your opponent's got all the energy in the world, and you've got to make sure to make the right call. And a lot of these Pokemon, sometimes you can't make the right call, and it does a ton of damage. Again, you're gonna have to find neutral play. This is a very unlike the Zodiac Cup or Sovereign Cup, where it was very normal neutral and it felt, normal neutral. This is starting to feel neutral play-y to be able to do really well or hold your own in these kind of tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, just putting your shield, I think this is really what determines wins and losses. I think that previous game we saw exactly where the most important place of the shield was. I mean, you decided to get a shield disadvantage early, but I mean, you just had such a good spot. Empoleon is going to play well into everything. Really, the only thing that resists all of its moves is Empoleon itself. So, I mean, you're guaranteeing a neutral move into an opposing Pokemon, which just sets you up for success there, in my opinion.
Absolutely. The last line being a 3 Empoleon neutral lineup, no matter what. So I was ready for that Empoleon lead, swap and close. As we're gonna now say GG's to Riblet for a wonderful battle here in this Flash tournament, and go to our final matchup in round 3. All right, round 3, bringing out our spiciest team that we have seen so far in Jester, one of our EU battlers, always around the Flash for Everyone journeys, always battling it out and trying to learn these Devon Corps metas. Love the spice that he's bringing. Brown Baller, I'm gushing because Pawniard, Vespa Queen, like those are so, woo! Like,
this is going to be exciting.
Right?
I'm excited.
Access to Power Gem. I didn't even think about that to now. I was like, oh my god, that's a wonderful pick.
I mean, not just the Power Gem. That X Scissor is going to be nasty on either of your Mon.
Right?
That definitely is a very, very uncomfortable wall for Shiftry. that Poniard, there's a lot of bug damage. Our team, if there's one weakness I'd say this team has, is bug damage. You know, Poniard and Vespa Queen look like they can bring that to you.
Yeah.
Celio looks decent. There's a lot that looks decent. This is gonna be an exciting matchup here. I'm hoping for one of the best games we see here. I want to see the Spicy team do very well, and I think it will here.
As we're going to see the Empoleon right into the Poniard. It's shiny, of course. And we look at how fast those Fury Cutters are going. Already at a move. Already at the move. It's like, oh my gosh, what does it have? I think it has access to Crotch Chop. Night Slash. Doesn't proc. So
that is one thing there. You know, the Night Slash shielding the first one. If that were to boost your, this could be a little scary personally.
Yeah. The minute I realized this, I'm like, oh my goodness, this could get real terrifying if this little thing procs twice and just starts forcing this, because then the third Night Slash is going to just demolish this Pokemon. But they don't want to give up the shield and let it go down. And here comes the Celio, and I don't blame him for that because Celio's so tanky, but Empoleon's just putting down the damage, and here comes the Celio to meet it, and it's met with its own Vespa Queen with the shield.
Very interesting there. I mean, that Celio was definitely potentially dangerous in that backline for your team, but this Walrein has now opened up its ability, and the Power Gem will land. I'm just curious to see how this is about to land out. That Poniard was scary. And I think we really saw that too by those shields you committed to that Poniard matchup.
Yeah, terrified of it, because thinking about it, if it gets anything off and swaps out and I lose alignment here, I could be in a serious trouble with that Vespa Queen in the back. As a Water Pulse comes out, because Celio can learn Water Pulse too, don't forget. Now that Water Pulse got boosted in this last meta. So there it goes. Celio gonna get to a Body Slam. A double Body Slam won't do it, as he gets to a double Mud Bomb here with the Quagsire to close out game one.
Yeah, and I think, you know, one thing we saw there, Rybot brought the Shadow Quagsire, but we've got the normal variant here. I think the Shadow variant of Quagsire would have probably not lived to those Body Slams. I think really the non-Shadow really does appear to be the way on a lot of these bonds here.
Yeah, I noticed that with the PV Poke rankings. And then you start looking at it, you're like, well, if everything is neutral, right, why are you giving up defense? Especially if not everybody's going to have the Shadow version of these other Pokemon. So, Walrein, when I was doing the numbers, when we did our video with JRE breaking down our 6 that we should bring, absolutely the Guzzlord Walrein combo were my two. And when I was doing my research, normal Walrein picked up a few extra wins. So that's why I went with normal Walrein, and it does do me justice here, as it's Jester that we're playing here for game 2 of this third round of this Flash for Everyone tournament. Having some fun, getting a feel for the new Rainstorm Cup for the April meta, as Vespa Queen is terrorizing my team here. The X-Scissor takes the Quagsire almost half health, as the Stone Edge is going to come hurling through.
Yeah, this is a double super effective Stone Edge. Vespa Queen does not want to eat this at all, but the Quag, you know, is putting in work. I mean, I think Quag wins the ones going straight Stone Edge. So, I mean, I think the Vespa Queen has to come to show here. Really haven't done any damage to it. You know, but, you know.
When did that happen? Were we sleeping on the job? As Eradicate is in place, Vespa Queen now, and Bullet Seed Leaf Blades coming in.
Is this about to be a Bullet Seed down here? I think so.
Return! Return!
No, we are returned.
We are returned. As with the little health left, we've got the Empoleon getting that extra tapping, knowing that on the same time as the Hydro Cannon, the Poniard would get to the Night Slash. So getting those few extra taps early with the shield advantage, now can get to his Hydro Cannons before and could wipe this Poniard out. You gotta be careful of that switch clock, and no, here comes the Vespa Queen. Gonna take this Hydro.
That Empoleon is still healthy, though. This Vespa Queen is not going to have a straightforward matchup here.
Oh,
And we are
getting to
throwing
the Mud Bomb.
This is going to be very interesting. I mean, this shouldn't kill. It's a double resisted move. I mean, but we
But
do
did-
see MP there, which is huge.
That is really big. Empoleon gets extra energy, gets to the Hydro Cannon to put on the final play here to take out this Pawniard.
I mean, I think Jester had quite a bit go right for him there, but it felt like that Empoleon was just able to have a lot of control over the matchup and directed where it went. And realistically, at the end, I think it just looked like it was just too much for the team. It just felt like just the strength of Empoleon. That's really the biggest thing here. I mean, the best Queen doesn't want to see it. The Celio doesn't want to see it. I think really the only way to really handle it. I think Pioneer's coming back. I think Best Queen's also coming back. But I think that Marshtomp's got to come out just to be able to deal with that Empoleon. It's a problem.
Yeah, I thought Marshtomp was coming out last game. That's why I brought out the Shift 3. Because Empoleon was so good in last game with the pressure against the Pawniard taking the shields. But if you notice, Brown, what is not on Jester's team?
An Empoleon.
An Empoleon. So, Empoleon has just been so strong. If he had an Empoleon paired up with both of those Pokemon, I feel like he'd be in such a better position than a Melodic.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of that Empoleon Quagsire core for you. It's just really, really good. I mean, and also this Walrein as well. It's in the matchup I think it wants to see. I mean, it doesn't really want to stay in the Celio matchup, but I think the Celio coming in, I think we're probably going to see a Vespa Queen or a Pawniard in the back here based on what we've seen for the previous comps and just how its strength is overall into your team.
Yeah. Definitely buried the Umbreon until now to make sure that double bug isn't going to be a thing. So here we go. If it is the bug Pokemon, Umbreon's going to call it out because there's a Guzzlord in the back, and with the Celio and a bug type, that's not what Guzzlord wants to see. Dealing and soaking up all the energy here from the Celio. Now Umbreon is going to unleash the fury of foul play. Woo!
Yeah, I think we're gonna really see here a chance for the Umbreon to do. It's gonna be not able to take advantage of its foul play here, but these last resorts are going to do just fine. It should be in crunch range after this, unless they go for a farm down. This farm down full of energy could be in a very interesting spot. You know, based on how they're playing this, you know, I feel like there is not a Vespa Queen in back because there's really. Why would you swap out of that lead? They're looking for something. So I mean, I think it's a Pawniard in back in my opinion, based on how they played this.
That's interesting. You would think it was a Pawniard in the back because why not bring it out against that Umbreon and get all of that energy? Instead, we're going to find out it is the Pawniard in the back, and they were baiting the Guzzlord the whole time. Those Fury Cutters took a quarter of Guzzlord's health, and look at what X-Scissor does. Oh my goodness, that's like 200 health right there, gone from this huge Ultra Beast.
I forgot this had X's there. This is definitely very interesting here. How is this gonna play out? I mean, does X? If we get a Night Slash boost here,
if it's a Night Slash boost, it's over. Here we go, Night Slash, no boost, Night Slash. What will Walrein do? It does not live. That was a good Game 3 fight. Unfortunately, with the first battles there, SosaFlo secured the round and took the 3-0 tournament. Let's head back to the analyst desk and talk about the closing matchup and what we saw. All right, we didn't talk about that last matchup, but with those bug Pokemon, that was a lot of pressure from Darks that we had not seen throughout the entire tournament. The only actual pressure that brought a bug pressure was the Barbarical earlier, and we saw that Shiftry just eat that thing up. So very different playstyle here from Jester. What did you feel about his team there?
I think, we really see Empoleon, the strength of Empoleon. That's overall the biggest thing here. And I think realistically, Quag, I think if you're really strong to Quag, I think you'll get it benched. But I mean, I think not bringing that Quag that last game, we saw what happened with that Poniard. I think Poniard is a low-key, we may call it a spicy pick. It may be more meta than I think we're giving it credit for here, personally. I mean, it went off absolutely there that last game.
I mean, imagine if that thing had procced once on me. I would not have survived. Like, that thing would have been terrorizing everything in my matchup. So, I absolutely agree with you. I think Poniard could be a silent killer. I think Vespa Queen could be a silent assassin for those, if you're playing in your locals, right? And you know that some people just watch, the regular people don't watch this PBN1, don't know this Vespa Queen spice there. You'll throw some of your opponents off with that power gem. Took almost half the it took over half the health of the wall rain, and it has access to X Scissor too, which we saw. Like, there is not a lot of dark pressure. You can finally put some pressure onto Umbreon, Brown. Like, any pressure onto Umbreon, maybe then it might be a little worried. But if there's no pressure onto Umbreon's just sitting pretty.
Yeah, I know. Another thing is, if we notice based on our team, we have a lot of darks and we have a lot of waters. One thing we really don't have on this team is flying type, which, I mean, if we look at Jester's team, he has one flying type. There's 2 flying types on Riflet's team and 2 flying types on J-Max's team. So, I mean, just the balance of, the typings picked for his team. Definitely, I think leaves us open for some bug damage to be lethal. I mean, you saw how far Jester's team made it. I mean, that bug damage is overall strong. I think it's very strong. I think you're going to have to respect it and try and figure out how to deal with it. It's going to be, I think it's definitely going to be part of maybe where the meta might be shifting towards.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that, because these bugs, again, have access to things that cover the rest of it. Power Gem gets those flyers. Night Slash for a boost, and you've got X Scissor there to put down for, that boosted X Scissor is out of control right now. It does so much damage to the Quagsire. It could really be a silent assassin in your tournament. And this is what I love about Flash, as these battlers from around the world came together to give this incredible tournament and show us these fun battling play styles. Granted, we saw some very similar lineups, but there's still a Mighty Ina and a Mandibuzz that popped out that we got to see come out to play there from Warrior J-Mac, and I was not expecting either of those to really play out once battlers start getting more involved into this meta.
Yeah, one thing I think you could really say is, regardless of the comp, I felt all 6 bonds were always bringable every single game. I mean, for both sides. So it's definitely I love that in a meta. I think that's, you don't know what's coming. So there's definitely a lot you can do. Can you adjust? Can you prepare? You're not going to see the same, 3 mon every single game, and you know what's coming, and you may not be able to stop it. Well, now you may not be able to stop it because you may make a wrong call. The opponent, could make the correct call and get, out of a bad situation. They may get that Quagsire on your Shiftry with Bullet Seed. They may get that Barbarical on the Shiftry as well with Bullet Seed, and doing a lot of Bullet Seed damage or Bullet Seed.
We love to see them. We've seen so many seen so many metas pop up, and a lot of metas sometimes lead to like 2 to 3 Pokemon, and that's just basically the line that you see a lot of times, or all the time, or the only time. Whereas this, like, all 6 Pokemon can come out to play, and all 6 Pokemon can shine, even when they're not in good positions. They can still get you that chip damage that you need.
Yeah, I personally think another underrated Pokemon, I mean, it's been always meta for its entire history, is Altaria.
Ooh, yeah.
I think that Altaria definitely has a lot of strength here, be able to play out the Quag matchup. It just shields the Stone Edge. But if you get into a situation where the Altaria has no shields, Altaria's eating the Stone Edge. I think it should live 1, but I mean, it definitely doesn't want to eat a Stone Edge by any means.
The double Dragon Breath combo there, definitely fun to see if that will play out in this meta as it did well in the Zodiac Cup. But we're wrapping up now. Thank you, Brown Baller, for joining us today. Any last final thoughts on the tournament in the Rainstorm Cup that you'd like to say before you go off into your own local tournament?
I mean, I think I'm going to take a lot of this valuable information we got here, try to translate that into, make some adjustments. I mean, I think the team is very, very strong. It's just trying to, prepare for that adjustment. I think that bug adjustment is going to be very big, and I think it might open up flyers. So, I mean, I think our team definitely has the ability to add a flyer. 3 darks and 3 waters. I think there's potential to drop one. I don't know which one to drop, but yeah, it's going to be changing as we keep going in this meta.
It was a really hard decision because I was like, I should probably get Pelipper in here, and then I was like, I'll drop Quagsire, but then I lose that Empoleon flyer combo that I really want just in case I get caught there. And I was like, well, I'll drop Walrein, but then if the dragons come out, then I'm SOL with dragons. And it's like,
yeah.
Oh man, what do I gotta do?
It feels like you need 7 Pokemon personally for this meta.
It's a tough meta. But that's great though. That is wonderful because then it just asks you to play your play style. And that's what I love about it, is when you get to play your play style, aren't just stuck to the same. Besides, we all know Empoleon's coming, right?
I think that's a pretty fair assumption. I mean, it's very, very strong. And then, I think that was something I may have overcompensated for, really, when, we talked about it in the first time. Are you willing to drop the Quag? Quag may be more of a harder answer to it, per se. But, I mean, it felt like Quag was still really good. I don't love Quagsire versus Flyers just because, you've got to land a 55 energy Stone Edge. Yeah. Whereas other mons can, just play the matchup out. And Empoleon, can just play out, try to resist as much as it can, and, take advantage there. But, I mean, if we can get a Poniard and Empoleon core, I mean, you could really put those Quagsires through a loop.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to find out as the meta changes and goes, as we are just beginning the Rainstorm Cup here in April from Devon Corps GG's. Be sure to check out the links down below so you can find your local tournaments or find any sort of scrims that you want on their Discord servers, as they've got practices there. And be sure to come through the Flash for Everyone Discord server, as you get wonderful tournament practices like we just saw this one here, where you get battlers from around the world showing you different styles and getting your team ready for your local tournament so you are prepared.
I mean, I think that's definitely going to be pretty good. And you're trying to make it rain. That's the thing.
Good luck out there, battlers, as you get those rainstorms a brewing. I'm SosaFlo.
And I'm Brownballer10.
Thank you all for watching the Poke Battle Network. And like always, keep on battling.